Most parents don't realize that one of their strongest parenting instincts, the deep desire to protect their toddler from all discomfort and struggle, is actually preventing their child from developing the emotional skills they'll need for the rest of their life. This instinct comes from profound love. It feels like the essence of good parenting. But neuroscience shows that when we constantly shield young children from age-appropriate challenge and frustration, we're accidentally interfering with critical brain development that can only happen through experience with manageable difficulty. If you find yourself constantly intervening before your toddler encounters any struggle, rushing in to solve problems before they've had a chance to try, or feeling anxious whenever your child experiences frustration or disappointment, this video will help you understand what's happening in their developing brain and why stepping back might be one of the most loving things you can do. The mistake of overprotection looks like this. Your toddler reaches for something slightly out of reach. Before they've even tried to problem solve, you hand it to them. They're building with blocks and one falls. Before they can react, you fix it for them. They're struggling to put on their shoes. You take over and do it because it's faster and prevents their frustration. They start to look uncertain about something. You immediately reassure and redirect before they've experienced any real discomfort. Each of these moments feels caring. Each feels like you're being helpful and responsive. But research in developmental psychology shows that when we do this consistently throughout the day, we're preventing our children from developing critical emotional skills like resilience, frustration tolerance, problem solving, and self-regulation. The developing brain learns not through being told about capabilities, but through direct experience of encountering challenge and discovering what it can do. When we remove all challenge before it's even fully encountered, we remove the opportunity for this essential learning to occur. Here's what neuroscience tells us about emotional growth in toddlers. The brain develops emotional resilience and self-regulation specifically through experiences of feeling uncomfortable and then successfully managing that discomfort or discovering it's tolerable. This process requires the child to actually experience the difficulty, not just to be told about it or protected from it. When a toddler encounters a manageable challenge, their nervous system activates. They feel frustration or uncertainty. If we give them space to sit with that feeling for even a brief time, their brain begins building the neural pathways for distress tolerance and problem solving. They might try different approaches, they might persist through the discomfort, they might discover they can manage more than they thought, or they might learn that asking for help after trying is effective. But when we step in immediately and remove the challenge, none of this learning happens. The activation occurs, but then we prevent the completion of the cycle where the child discovers their own capacity. Their brain learns instead that difficulty requires immediate external rescue, that their own efforts aren't sufficient, and that discomfort is something to be avoided rather than worked through. Research in child development finds that children need regular opportunities to face age-appropriate struggles on their own. This doesn't mean leaving them with tasks far beyond their capability or ignoring genuine distress. It means allowing them to encounter the kinds of challenges that are just at the edge of their current ability, where success is possible but requires effort and where failure is safe and informative. When parents consistently step in too soon, children never learn several critical lessons. They don't learn that they can handle difficulty. They don't learn that effort leads to capability. They don't learn that failure is temporary and provides information. They don't learn to trust their own problem solving. Instead, they learn to wait for rescue, to doubt their own capacity, and to become anxious when challenges arise because they've never experienced successfully working through them. From a developmental perspective, this creates children who become increasingly dependent, anxious, and lacking in confidence precisely because they were protected from the experiences that build genuine capability and emotional strength. What to do instead requires a fundamental shift in how we think about struggle and discomfort in childhood. When your toddler encounters a challenge, your first response is to pause. Resist the immediate urge to intervene. Give them 10 seconds, 20 seconds, a full minute. Watch what they do. Stay nearby with calm, supportive presence, but don't immediately fix the problem. Your presence communicates safety. Your calm body language tells their nervous system that this challenge is not an emergency. Your willingness to wait shows them that you trust their capacity to try. If they become genuinely distressed or clearly need help, you can step in, but you give them the opportunity to discover what they can do first. When you do offer help, make it minimal. Instead of taking over completely, you might say, "What could you try next?" or "Which part feels tricky?" You're supporting their problem-solving process rather than replacing it. You might offer to help with one part while they continue working on the rest. The goal is to keep them as actively engaged in the challenge as possible rather than becoming passive recipients of your solution. This approach feels harder than rescuing because you have to tolerate your own discomfort at watching your child struggle. You have to trust that brief frustration is not harmful. You have to believe that their capability grows through challenge, not through protection from it. But this is precisely what builds genuine emotional strength. The benefits of allowing toddlers to experience manageable struggle are profound and long-lasting. Research shows that children who are given space to work through age-appropriate challenges develop stronger problem-solving skills, greater persistence, higher frustration tolerance, and more confidence in their own abilities. They learn that difficulty is a normal part of growth rather than evidence of their inadequacy. They develop what psychologists call a growth mindset, understanding that effort leads to capability and that struggle is how learning happens. They become more willing to try new things because failure doesn't feel catastrophic, it feels like information. From a neuroscience perspective, these children build robust neural pathways for emotional regulation and executive function because those pathways have been strengthened through repeated use. Their brains have practiced activating in response to challenge, engaging problem-solving processes, managing frustration, and either succeeding through persistence or adapting when initial approaches don't work. As they grow older, these early experiences create children who are more emotionally intelligent, better able to regulate their own states, more independent, and more resilient in the face of setbacks. The struggles you allowed them to experience in toddlerhood become the foundation for emotional strength throughout childhood and into adolescence and adulthood. Conversely, children who are consistently overprotected often struggle more as they get older. They may experience higher anxiety because they never learned they could handle difficulty. They may avoid challenges because they lack confidence in their capability. They may become emotionally fragile because their nervous system never built tolerance for discomfort. The protection that felt loving in the moment created vulnerability long-term. The shift from overprotecting to supporting requires awareness and practice. Start by noticing your own impulse to rescue. When you feel that urge, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself whether your child is in genuine danger or simply experiencing normal, age-appropriate challenge. If it's the latter, practice staying present without intervening. Watch what happens when you give them space. You may be surprised to discover they're capable of more than you thought. You may notice that the frustration you feared would overwhelm them actually passes relatively quickly when you don't rush in to eliminate it. You may see them develop new strategies, show persistence you hadn't seen before, or experience genuine pride when they accomplish something through their own effort. Your toddler's emotional growth is not nurtured by protection from all difficulty. It's nurtured by experiencing manageable challenge with your supportive presence nearby. The struggles they face now, the frustrations they work through, the failures they recover from, these are building the emotional intelligence and resilience they'll carry with them for life. Trust the process. Trust their capacity. Give them space to discover what they can do. Your calm presence and your willingness to let them struggle are gifts that will serve them far better than constant rescue ever could. If this helps you see your protective instincts in a new light, share it with other parents who might benefit, and stay here for more science-based guidance on supporting your child's emotional development in ways that build genuine strength and capability.